The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation. Keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond. You're listening to the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Coming at you right now with an all-new episode of the RCWR Post Show. Coming at you on Sunday night, February 17th. 2013. I will be joined by new co-host Diamond K in just a few minutes. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties, nothing like the Super Bowl there a couple of weeks back. He's just trying to fix his headset, so he'll join us in a little bit. But in the meantime, hey, as always, chat room is loaded up for you guys right now at blogtalkradio.com/the-RCWR show. Feel free to jump on in there when you get a chance. We got a couple of people that are active in there right now. I see we got a ton of extra guests, and we got our good friend Philip in there. Shout out to Philip. Feel free to join in there. It is open. And also the chat, on top of the chat room being open, the phone lines, yes, they will be open. So for those of you that had saw tonight's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is what I was trying to say. I'm just a little bit too excited over here. Let me calm down a little bit. Feel free to call in as we'll be opening up the phone lines in the later part of the show. However, depending on the number of callers that we see on our switchboard, we may jump to it a little bit early. Number to call is 646-478-3525. Once again, the telephone number is 646-478-3525. And while I am giving co-host Diamond K a little bit of time to get himself together, let me just kick things off by saying to you all, I humbly appreciate all of you that had checked out the great week of shows that we had put out, especially with our Valentine's Day Slow Jamming with Lee special. It was a nice 3-hour block of playing some of the best R&B slow jamming music from the 80s, 90s, today. If you didn't check that out yet and you're still kind of celebrating the Valentine's Day weekend, go ahead, check that out. It was really good, man. A lot of great praise. We're definitely going to be doing that again somewhere down the road, I promise you all. And we also had a fantastic interview with WWF legend Bruno Sammartino from this past Saturday. If you didn't check that out, you'll want to grab that. That was one of the most kick-ass interviews that I have done since this show's birth a year ago. It was a great 45-minute-plus interview. Transcript is going to be available for you all shortly. That might not want to hear the whole audio. You want to just look at key sections of the interview. We'll have that exclusively on our website very shortly, hopefully. If not tonight, maybe in the wee hours of the morning. So if you're a late-night owl and you like looking up stuff online, just check out the website. But thank you all for checking out the great week of shows that we've been putting out. All right, let's slide on in. Diamond K, Diamond Buddy, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Oh, it is very, very good. How you doing tonight?
Very good, very good. Interesting show.
Yeah, it was a very interesting show. I mean, you really couldn't expect not that much of a major shakeup. I mean, we're 7 weeks away / 49 days away from WrestleMania. I know we had some people that were kind of biting into their pillows and hoping that maybe we were going to get some type of a little shocker and seeing maybe the titles change hands with one of them. But no, I think this is the route that definitely, they needed to take with this. And for those of you that are just curious off the break, let's just get it out the way right now. The People's Champion, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is still the WWE Champion when this night is said and done with. As despite the odds being stacked against him, despite the shenanigans, if you want to call it that, by one CM Punk, Paul Heyman, what was that, Diamond? They took out, at least 2-3 refs, brought in the WWE title. Okay, we saw countless of close near pinfall
yeah.
But it was The Rock that ended up getting the best of Punk. And, this did not surprise me one bit, although, there was one thing about the way that this ended that I had a little bit of a problem with, and I don't know if you have peeped this out, but the final few seconds of that match, right, we see The Rock, he just lays at people's elbow, and then he's trying to go for the pin for like about 3 seconds. He just has Punk. He's waiting for that pin. He's waiting for the ref to come and count. 3 seconds there. We don't see nothing. Ref slides on in. He counts to 1. He counts to 2. He counts to 3. Now, as I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing 1, 2, I say, wait a minute. The belt is still in the middle of the ring, and it's just right above The Rock's head. Is this possibly going to end in a way where we're going to see the referee give the WWE title to CM Punk to have this particular pay-per-view end on a WTF note, and basically it gives viewers the opportunity to tune in to Raw tomorrow night and basically go, oh my God, so CM Punk is the champion? Is there any way this could possibly be overturned? I was ready for a nice little setup where for at least maybe 2 weeks CM Punk would be the WWE champion until Vince McMahon or Triple H come into the picture and say, look, I've personally seen the footage. I know the refs, they can only do but so much. Got to overturn this. Punk is not the champion. Rock is still the champion. I was a little bit surprised they didn't go this route. What was your take of seeing those last few seconds there? Were you thinking the same thing?
Nah, they can't do that. The Rock has to go in strong, and that's the way it has to go. So there's no way that I thought that Punk was going to lead with the title. No way. G.I. Joe packages playing. There's no way that The Rock is not going to have this title. No way.
So now the million-dollar question that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds right now, and we just continue to hear those reports, and I don't like to believe in them until otherwise, but, we can't help but acknowledge it. It's looking as though Undertaker may be sitting this one out, but I think as you and I had stressed earlier in the week, these first 3 weeks of Raw is going to be very critical, because if there's ever a time to slide in The Undertaker, you want to do it those first 3 weeks. 49 days away from Mania, that would be the time frame to have Taker pop up. The million-dollar question now, Diamond, what is next for CM Punk? We see the way that Elimination Chamber ended, and it's looking as though it's going to be John Cena versus The Rock 2 at Mania, but this time for the title. Is there any hope of CM Punk possibly getting in there? And if not, then what would the next best scenario be for him at Mania?
I'm still thinking that Undertaker is going to still participate in WrestleMania. I think that they're trying to psych out the fans, create a mark-out moment. I'm still predicting Undertaker to compete at WrestleMania.
I'm really hoping that it goes that route. If not that route, God, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, if not that route, then maybe they can do something with Ryback. There's still a little bit of unfinished business, I would think, between those two guys. Maybe they could do something with that. But if they decide to not even go the Ryback route, then the only other option I could possibly see happen is, I don't know, maybe he would kind of have to put his attention on the World Heavyweight title. I don't know if maybe he can kind of slide on in there, but next couple of weeks should be very interesting. Let's kick it off with that YouTube pre-show for those of you that might have missed it. And before we go any further, let's give a shout-out to Kevin Kid Riot. He's having a little bit of problems listening to the show. Looks like he's trying to listen to it with the player via blogtalkradio.com. Okay, but you're calling in. Yeah, you can listen that way if you're having problems there with your server there. And the number to call, for those of you that might not want to do the chat room or listen on your browser, just call 646-478-3525. And you can listen to this episode as we're live in progress right now that way And, of course, as I said earlier, we'll be opening up the phone lines for you guys, get you all's reactions to what you thought of tonight's pay-per-view. Let's talk about that YouTube pre-show, always my favorite part. Pre-show, you know how I like to do it over here. We always hook you up with the stats. Now, the pre-show had began at 19,395 viewers. Not too bad. Now, they were going over the match previews for tonight's pay-per-view. That had spiked to 31,689. That was followed by a Randy Orton interview. Surprisingly, that had got a little bit of a spike at 36,689. From there, we saw our YouTube pre-show match, which was Lord Tensai, Brodus Clay. This was a no-brainer right here. It looks like WWE management is really behind this babyface tag team right now. And it looks like the way that they cleaned up Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow being together again, despite it being announced a couple of weeks back that they were separating to go in a singles career push. Looks like for one night only they were dubbing this. These two guys would reunite. This was a no-brainer that Tensai and Clay would pick up the win. Viewership at this point, strongest of the night, 46,224. From there, it just continued to decline as they had recapped the Rock versus CM Punk rivalry from Royal Rumble to close out the YouTube pre-show at 39,848. You know, Diamond, the thing that kind of rattled me a little bit most about the pre-show, and it didn't rattle me in a huge way, but I was offering match predictions for this pay-per-view Saturday. And you guys can backtrack, by the way, if you had missed that. I was actually pretty on point. I did pretty good tonight. I only messed up with one match. But the thing I pointed out with this particular match, I said the way that they need to clean this up in a way where it could kind of justify Kane and Daniel Bryan being in that Elimination Chamber match was to maybe perhaps say that for this YouTube tag match, what would be on the line is a number one contender spot to take on the tag champions at WrestleMania. You know, that kind of would have made a little bit more sense to me. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I was at least expecting that rather than just, you know, a not so obvious squash.
Well, you know, I think the reason they didn't go with that match stipulation is because, as you said, we have 7 weeks until WrestleMania. That's something that can happen on Raw or SmackDown, something like that, because there are not a lot of things that we can have in the upcoming weeks to set up some of the undercard matches. So I think that's something that they should save for Raw or SmackDown.
Okay. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, that is a bit of a stretch, too, 7 weeks, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to happen during that time.
Yeah, definitely. Miz had fought Antonio Cesaro for the United States title. That was a no-brainer right there. I think we both had said there was just no way Cesaro was going to lose the title at the Chamber, that the biggest payoff would be at WrestleMania. And I love how the commentators had sold the Miz there, saying, you know, he's not really at 100%, you know, and he's favoring his left arm. And as everybody knows, Miz is left-handed. So that was a no-shocker there. But it was a damn good, impressive match right there. I love the pop he received there where he was getting ready to do the figure 4 leg lock on Cesaro. And let's talk about that World Heavyweight title match. I definitely want to get your thoughts on this one. Now, bear in mind that this was, when it's all said and done, this was pretty much just a straight-up singles match. There was no gimmick behind it, but the way that they were dubbing this, and I thought it was interesting that they went about it this way. You would have had to watch SmackDown to really see how they were setting this up. Big Show, irate, telling the WWE Universe that, yes, okay, Alberto Del Rio, he may have been lucky, he may have beaten him twice now, but he's never pinned him, and that come tonight, it's just something that's not going to happen. Well, Big Show was right about that. He didn't get pinned, but it was the next best thing. Big Show tapping out to Alberto Del Rio's cross arm breaker. You and I have watched you and I have watched the Big Show. Like you say, he's been in the WWE for, I would think, at least about the same time as Kane there, if not a little bit longer. There's 16, 18 years there. And, you think about this. You think about how many times a submission specialist has tried to get his arm, put into that position where they could try to make him tap out. And Big Show just always manages to just strong arm his way out of it. Half the daggone time, he'll just pick somebody up. Keep in mind, their whole body's just wrapped around that one massive arm of his, and he'll just slam them down on the canvas. I was a little bit surprised that, we didn't see that come out. But again, this was their way of trying to really help set up Del Rio. I get that. Make him look strong, make him look like the underdog, and I like that. A little bit shocked, but here's the question here. Where does Big Show go from here? We keep being reminded of this ironclad contract that pretty much kind of makes him untouchable to a certain point. Do you see that this could possibly go in a way where, once again, Big Show could end up being a laughing stock at Mania, where he's going to take on another celebrity, or will the tides finally go in his favor and he's finally going to get a win at Mania, something he hasn't done in a long time?
Back of the shop for him. I definitely see one of those type of gimmick matches in his future. Where else are you going to put him, really?
Mm-hmm. So do you think this mean streak of the Big Show, do you think it's reached its course?
I think it's run its course with Mark Henry back. I definitely think that it's run its course. I'm not saying they need to take him in the direction of Tensai, but somewhere in between Mark Henry and Tensai, I think is the future Big Show persona. Okay.
So who do you see him taking on that this year's Mania? You think WWE might try to see if they can negotiate something with Shaq, or you think they might try to go in a different direction?
The way it looks right now, he might not even be on the card. Where do you put him in the YouTube pre-show? Maybe. I don't see where he fits unless they have some type of a match involving multiple wrestlers.
I didn't say this on Saturday, but there's one angle I could possibly see happen if WWE were to do it right. And this is only if they want to go the celebrity route with Big Show. I wouldn't mind seeing Mike Tyson versus Big Show.
Now?
And I'm going to tell you the reason why. The first thing I'm saying to myself is, okay, I'm remembering an interview that Mike Tyson had gave late last year, where he said he loves the WWE. He was talking about how he's good friends with Vince McMahon and them, and that there's nothing he would love more than to be able to lace up a pair of boots and work for the WWE. And he was talking about how he had came close at one point, and he had always thought it would be something fun to do post-boxing. So, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about how he was part of the whole WWE 13 video game and everything like that. I'm saying, what if, just a one-time match, why don't they try to have some type of a angle play out where, maybe you could have Mike Tyson be a special guest host of Raw one week, and Big Show just, gets into his face, and the rivalry can pretty much kind of go from there. Or maybe you can actually set it up in a way where WWE announces on Twitter and Facebook that Mike Tyson is going to be a future guest on Raw, and Big Show could kind of take, early shots on Twitter at Mike Tyson, and can follow up on it once he sees Tyson face-to-face, and then boom, there you go. You got your match right there. I'm just trying to help Big Show. I'd like to see him get a win at Mania, I'm still thinking about that Big Show that was at, what was it, WWE, in New York there, the WWE shop store. Man, there's a lot of stuff out there. That place was freaking awesome. And Big Show wasn't at Mania that year, and he was like, "Woo, Mania!" You know, I don't know, man. But I'm just trying to help the brother out, man. That would be the route I would go with that. But once again, Alberto Del Rio, he defeated Big Show via submission. Why don't you talk about the Elimination Chamber match with the folks? Let them know about that one.
Well, you know, first of all, the record will show, the tape will show. I predicted this match. I really couldn't see it going any other way. Interesting, as always, in the Chamber. The problem with the Chamber is that there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and a lot of the spots that they do with these pods can be a little dangerous, if you will. But going into this match, of course, Mark Henry, you know, heavily favored. Also in the Chamber, Orton, Kane, Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry, Jericho, and Swagger. You know, I really enjoy the opening with Bryan and Jericho, with their display of submissions and the you know, things like that. Those two guys starting it out. Did you think by any chance that Jericho could have pulled it out?
That I think Jericho could have pulled it off?
Yeah.
Win the whole thing?
Yeah.
There was a part of me that was, you know, because when I was offering match predictions, because remember, I was going to try to go there when we were last on air Tuesday, but I was like, let me marinate on it. And Saturday, I was like, you know what, you know, I was thinking from a writing standpoint, I'm like, Jericho would be that great route to go, and I gave my reason why. I went as far back as to when Jericho had got into trouble for that little flag incident in Spain. And I'm saying to myself, you know, what if WWE might be able to kind of use that and kind of have that be their basic platform to have a heel Jericho work with a face, Del Rio. And I'm thinking, you know, these two guys, I think they would tell a pretty interesting story. You know, wouldn't necessarily have to be hardcore races, but, you know, it would definitely be refreshing and very interesting to see a new rivalry at that, because we've never really seen these two guys get at each other like that. So I was like, okay, maybe Jericho is the way that they're going to be going here. And then, you know, once we see him get eliminated, it was like, oh, man. So, you know, then at that point, it was like, what, down to Randy Orton, Jack Swagger, and I can't think of the other one. I think it was Jericho at the end there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jericho,
yep.
yeah. So, I mean, once I saw Jericho go out of there, I see it's down to Randy Orton and Swagger. I'm like, that is Swagger. That's the route that they're going to go. I got to give Mark Henry mad props, though. I mean, he just proved, in my mind, and I'm sure he proved to a lot of people tonight that he does have one more title run in him. And honestly, I would love to see him get one more title reign. I don't care if it's the WWE or the World Heavyweight title. I would love to see him get one more run and it end in a way where, you know, he's taken it as far as he could. I want to see him stay healthy long enough, you know, for them to go, okay, we're going to go a different route now. You've done a fantastic job. Thank you. You know, but he did phenomenally well tonight, and the crowd really, that was really surprising for me, them showing their support. The only thing I have to add to that, and this is a special shout-out to Mark Henry, WWE, anybody connected to those in WWE, please get in contact with that daggone company and let them know we need a Mark Henry, that's what I do, T-shirt.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. After tonight, I definitely...
I was saying that like all weekend, bro. I was like raking the front lawn in the house, out the house, and my girlfriend said, here's some more trash bags. What are you going to do next? I said, well, I'm probably going to get the trash ready and everything. And anything else you need? Like, nah, I'm good, but that's what I do, Just
Did she know what you were talking about? Did she even have a clue what you were talking about?
She had a clue what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, she had a clue. It was between that and Bruno fucking San Martino. Between those two, she knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't want to, for those that didn't have a chance to see it, after Mark Henry was finally eliminated, it took basically 3 people to get him out of there. He came back into the cage and pretty much laid everybody out and got all of his heat back with a very strong performance. So he's still high up on the on the rankings, if you will. I definitely think that he's going to have a good place at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, and the more I marinated on what you said Tuesday about them going the route with Jack Swagger, I ended up agreeing with you because, when I was offering my picks, I was like, Swagger, that definitely would be the way to go. But I would have preferred to see them go the route with Jericho. But, because for me, I just think the route that they're going with Swagger and Del Rio, I think, it's just too easy. But at the same time, I can respect where they're trying to go. They're going into an area that they haven't gone in quite some time. And when they did go that route, it was always very intense. It kept you glued to the set. So, I'm looking forward to it. But, Diamond, surprisingly, there is a good number of WWE fans that are just pissed, is the best way I can put it, that Jack Swagger had won. Now, let's just read some of you all's tweets, and I was interacting with a few of you all throughout the night. Some of y'all had some really cool stuff to say. For those of you that might be listening, thank you, and thanks for interacting with me on Twitter. Let's kick it off with Mika. She said, called it. Now I'm going to watch everyone complain about Jack Swagger winning, and boy, was she right. Addy Malik, Addy the Malik, he says, come on, man. You let Swagger win Chamber? Damn, man. Hashtag disappointment. Michael Feeney at Michael Feeney 8. Hashtag WWE Chamber. No way, another crap World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. Orton or Jericho would be good, but come on. Swagger? Juliano RKO. This was probably the most strongest comment of the night with regards to seeing Jack Swagger win. Vince McMahon, you. Okay, I'm not going to even put the rest of that out there. WrestleMania 29 so far is a letdown to me. Hashtag Elimination Chamber WrestleMania 29. I got 2 more I'm going to read. Jeff Doherty, this is what he had to say as soon as he saw Jeff Swagger win. At The Rock, please, please save this pay-per-view. And one more. And Diamond, I definitely want to get your thoughts and just overall what we can expect from this. But I think in a nutshell, what this Twitter user had to say nails it perfectly. Ian Webb, new follower, Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania. Expect a lot of racist promos over the next few weeks, kids.
Oh, that's true. That part is true. Of course, I am all for this Jack Swagger win. I'm sorry, I don't want to see Orton and Del Rio. I want to see something different. I think that this is something different. We have 7 weeks to build it. I think that people are going to feel differently about Swagger in the up and coming weeks. They have more time to develop this. If this pay-per-view was 3 to 4 weeks away, then we would definitely need Mark Henry to win or somebody like that. But with 7 weeks out, we have plenty of time to develop and get Jack Swagger in the right position going.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just going to be great TV. I mean, you just look at the way Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Uncle Zeb, is, and the promos that he's cutting. You know, the first thing that you think of, you say to yourself, oh, my God, this is like one of those ignorant redneck people that, like, can't stand interracial dating, that, you know, probably can't stand black people, Hispanics, doesn't like anybody. He's like Archie Bunker of All in the Family, but 10 times worse. You know, because he's probably going to be riding in the back of a Ford truck, you know, from 1970 or whatever, with a shotgun, you know, just shooting at people down the road.
My God.
You know, and you know, but I think that the way that he looks and the promos that he's giving, I mean, he is really just doing wonders, and I think he is just really helping sell a repackaged Jack Swagger. I mean, let's be straight up here with Jack Swagger, okay? We know, we all can be in agreement. Jack Swagger, phenomenal athlete. He's got a great look. Don't get me wrong, okay? I will say that any day of the week. What's the one thing that is messing him up, though? It is that doggone lisp that he has going on, you know, that suffering succotash. That's what's been messing him up, unfortunately. But you can kind of look past that when you have him paired up with Uncle Zeb. And, I mean, you know, if I'm WWE creative, you know, I have to be very careful here because on the one hand, you're trying to have Alberto Del Rio go over successfully as the top babyface. You know, we could have in our hands here another Sheamus, Daniel Bryan. A lot of people could be really despising the hell out of Zeb and Swagger so much that creative could go, okay, well, you know what, let's put the tag belt, let's put the World Heavyweight title on Swagger, but then that kind of means, okay, well, what's going to happen with Dolph Ziggler? And speaking of Dolph Ziggler, he had some very interesting words to say just a little bit after Jack Swagger won, as he made a surprising appearance at tonight's event, telling the WWE Universe and Jack Swagger that he may think that he has a guaranteed win at WrestleMania, but it's he that's going to be the one that gets the job done and is going to be the new champion because he still has the Money in the Bank briefcase. SmackDown GM Booker T would come out and actually put him in a match against Kofi Kingston, of which Ziggler won. Post-match, Diamond, I thought this was a little bit overkill right here. We saw Big E Langston, or as some of you all have started dubbing him. I wasn't sure what y'all were talking about at first. Then I kind of thought about it. Choco Lesnar, Ryback. You guys come up with some very interesting names, I got to tell you. And those are not my views. That's just what a lot of people are saying. Ryback, Choco Lesnar, I like that. Going a little bit in the overtime there with Kofi Kingston.
Is kind of creative.
Yeah, they're very creative. Yeah. What was your thoughts about that? Was that a little bit too much? I mean, I know what they're trying to, you know, sell us with.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying, and also I think they're going to try to make the move to start having Big E in more matches, and it appears that he's going to be feuding with Kofi.
Yeah. Why I gotta be black on black though, man? I'm saying, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, we don't say anything when it's two white wrestlers. We don't say white on white. So, you know, so every now and then we'll get, you know, we'll get Ron Simmons versus Butch Reed, and we'll get Kofi versus Big E Langston.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I thought it was very interesting, just to back up a second, I thought it was very interesting, the promo that Uncle Zeb was cutting tonight, just, what was that, a little bit before the Elimination Chamber match, and he was bringing up Thomas Jefferson, and I'm thinking to myself, and I literally said this to my girlfriend, you know, this shows how much of a geek I am. I actually remember my U.S. history. I looked at her, I said, wait a minute now. Didn't Thomas Jefferson have a little rendezvous with a little a black woman there? Like, why is he even bringing up Thomas Jefferson?
Yeah, he had a child with one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a child with one.
Yeah, I'm like, come on now. Why are we, go with a different president?
Maybe he didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Any other one, he could have won.
Yeah, I just thought that was
any other one he could have won, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not the route to go. It looks like at this point, man, it looks like Dolph Ziggler is WrestleMania bound. He's going to become the new champion. How do you see this playing out? That's what I'm saying. Against who is the $1 million question?
I mean, I don't know what match you put him in, but I don't know. So you have him cashing in on Dolph. On Jack Swagger.
That's what I'm thinking. I think Swagger is going to become the new champion. But I see Dolph Ziggler coming out. Like, if it was me, if I was writing this, it would make more sense to see Swagger briefly have the World Heavyweight title, and then we can see Ziggler come out, attack him. There's that history of those two as they once used to be a tag team. So that's why I would set it up that way, and then it could lead into a future pay-per-view where maybe we could have it be a triple threat match for the title between those three guys.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, but
we need something spicy, so.
Yeah, and we're 7 weeks away. Who knows? Maybe Dolph Ziggler might cash it in on an episode of Raw or SmackDown.
I'm thinking he really should wait until the next day. I think it's so obvious, and he still doesn't have to do then, because I think, did he win that in June?
I believe so.
Yeah, so he still has a little bit of time, because we also have to look at it like this: after WrestleMania is over with, starting the Monday after and going forward, what do we have? So if he holds back a little bit, that's something that we could have to look at the next pay-per-view following WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably one of the most weakest and quietest moments of the entire night. And I actually thought they were going to skip this match the way it was looking right now with the card at this point. And I'm getting this out the way now because, I like to get the bad stuff out the way, go back to the good. The Divas match, Kaitlyn versus Tamina. My God, when that poor little girl came on out, Miss Kaitlyn, when she came on out and she got her little theme song going, all I heard, brother, was crickets. I feel so bad for her. Every time she comes out, it seems like a majority of the cities that the WWE is in, you hear her music, she comes out, she's looking at the crowd, she's kind of doing a little fist pump thing like, yeah,
right.
Aren't y'all happy to see me? Yeah, I'm here. And the crowd is just dead as I don't know what. And I felt really bad for Tamina Snuka because, I'm looking at her and I'm like, my God, this second-generation wrestler has to put over, this girl who really cannot get over. I would buy more into Tamina being a Divas champion than Kaitlyn. And then they followed it up with that weak promo. And for those of you listening, I'll have, I don't want you guys sitting up going, oh, you guys hate the Divas division, it's crap.
Right.
Before you guys even go that route, let me just say for the record, I am a huge supporter of women's wrestling. If you've listened to our show long enough, you know that we cover Shine Wrestling, we cover a little bit of Shimmer Wrestling news. We love women's wrestling, huge supporters, but when you have a weak division, when you have a weak Divas champion, I'm sorry, I'm going to call it for what it is. And, this is the wrong girl that they have as champion, which kind of has me sitting up going, okay, I know we're 7 weeks away from Mania, but given the type of reaction that she had received tonight, is that what they really want to look forward to going into Madison Square Garden, where pretty much, as history has shown, that New York crowd will either make or break your career?
Well, unfortunately for them, Kaitlyn does not have it. She does not have the it factor. She is no Bobby Roode, right? She just does not have it.
No.
They need to get that belt off of her. They need to get it off of her fast. If they want to get a big pop during WrestleMania, Madison Square Garden, let's bring out Awesome Kong as a challenger, surprise challenger, and let her squash Kaitlyn. That would get a pop and some excitement for the women's title.
What are the odds that they can get Kaitlyn back to work, up until that point, though?
Well, I mean, I don't see how. It's unless they're going to put the women's title on in the pre-show, I really don't know how they can get any excitement for this title. I mean, can you think of anything else to get people excited? Kaitlyn with the title is not exciting.
It's really not, and honestly, and this is something I've been wondering for the longest time. It looked as if AJ Lee was about to go back to being a singles competitor in the women's division.
Right.
They've been teaming her up there with Dolph Ziggler and Lord, I was about to call him Ryback, Big E Langston. If I was doing this right now, I would actually have AJ Lee be in some type of an angle backstage with Vicky Guerrero. Maybe talk about how in the past, they weren't really on the same page, but
right.
Want to try to make up or whatever. And Vicky's like, okay, I feel you, I can respect that. So what can I do for you? He's like, well, I'd like to really get my feet back into the women's division. Honestly, I'd like to be the Divas champion. Maybe Vicky could tell her, look, you got to earn it, and maybe we could actually see Big E Langston try to play a little small role and help AJ win a few matches, puts her in a position where she can actually take the title off of Kaitlyn, and there you have a little bit of heat. AJ has already proven that she knows how to push the right buttons. So, honestly, and this is something that should have happened a long time ago. They should have went with AJ.
Right, but the only problem with that is that AJ is so instrumental in helping getting some of these guys over that I don't think that that extra hardware for her to carry around is really going to make a big deal for her. I'd rather see Naomi, who can wrestle and is built like I don't know, but she's built like I like them, and she definitely could probably do some things. And what's the other girl's name that they always have doing the jobs? A black girl. Why can't I think of her? No, the black girl. She's tall. I think her sister wasn't tough enough. Also, and I cannot think of her name. She's tall.
Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox. I think that they should, give her a better role. Try some of these other girls, but I definitely anybody but Kaitlyn. I don't even think Kaitlyn needs a job at this point in WWE. Yeah.
And Alicia Fox, I mean, she's proven. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's like a 2-time Divas champ.
Yeah, and she's got some years under her belt. She's a veteran.
Yeah. That's definitely the route that they need to go with that. How about that Shield versus Team Cena? That's what I'm calling it. Are you a little bit surprised that the Shield had picked up the win right here? Because, I mean, a lot of folks were...
clean win. Clean
win.
I mean, a lot of folks... Very surprised.
Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of folks were looking at this. They did need it, because, I mean, otherwise it would have been a kiss of death.
Right. They needed it. One thing about WWE, and one of many things that we have to commend Triple H for. A lot of people are quick to tear Triple H down, but we have to commend Triple H, and I'm gonna specifically name him because WWE has been learning from some of the mistakes of the past, the way that they handled Cena with dealing with factions in the past, being able to run through them. They have this down. They're implementing different strategies that they didn't do with the Spirit Squad and they didn't do with Nexus, with Cena being able to just single-handedly take out the whole crew. So they have gone that route with the Shield, and I think that this is a good step, and it's showing that the Shield is a threat and is a problem, and I think that is a good thing.
At this point, though, where does the Shield go? I mean, obviously, we're going to be seeing these guys most likely make their debut at WrestleMania. What's next for them, though? I mean, we know that we have John Cena. He's going to be preoccupied. He has no choice but to focus on The Rock. We still have Randy Orton and Ryback. They might be able to continue on with the Shield. Is that the direction that they kind of go into there? I mean, who do you see if they decide to go this route? Who could take Cena's place to take on the Shield at Mania?
I really don't know, but I definitely think that Ryback will be involved with the Shield some kind of way.
Yeah, and we got a couple
in a
of
match
weeks left.
in a match of some degree. I really wanted to point out the fact that that the Shield really looked good in this match. I really was impressed with Roman Reigns. I'm really looking forward to inevitably when the Shield breaks up and goes their route. I guess some of them are going to go babyface, some are going to stay heel. These three guys are really going to be difference makers in the years to come.
They really are, and to echo what you said there, they did look very impressive tonight, and they definitely shocked me, I must admit, because when I say they, the WWE writers, they definitely shocked me because I truly had thought that this was going to be the beginning of the end for the Shield.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, WrestleMania time, okay, sweep this under the rug. And folks, we still got 7 weeks to go, so I mean, it's possible. We could see some type of a rematch between these two teams, and maybe it could be the be all end of it all. At least, until they can get WrestleMania out the way, then maybe it can resume. But I definitely am proud that this is going to continue. It just puts this question in my mind right now. Three guys, of which two of them are Ring of Honor alumni, but you look at a guy like Roman Reigns, the future is definitely bright for him. I see why they want to try to make him be that next big breakout star. He's got the look. He's got everything down. I see that. But, the thing that I find most funny, three guys, you'll go over to a certain company, and they've got like 8 guys wearing masks for almost an entire year. They start losing them week after week after week. It's just not going well. What is it about the Shield that makes them more superior than Aces and Eights? Diamond, your headset's messing up, man. I didn't hear you. Diamond, fix your headset, buddy. See, I got to buy Diamond a little bit of time. See, I put that question out there. Diamond wasn't prepared for it. Let's try that again, Diamond.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
So, I mean, what is it about the Shield? What makes them so better than Aces and Eights? I like their outfits better. But I think ultimately the in-ring talent of the guys is what makes the difference. I mean, this is pro wrestling. That's the bottom line. And they're just better wrestlers. Better on the mic, better in the ring. And it's only 3 of them. So that's just amazing when you think about it. I mean, really. You go.
Wait a minute.
Just think about that. You go, and everybody listening at home, I just want you to think about that for a second, especially those of you that like to watch different wrestling promotions. Just let that sink for a second. TNA Wrestling, they got Aces and Eights. You've seen it for almost a year. Now look at what WWE gave us. The Shield popped up, if I'm not mistaken, right around, October, November, and they have just, right. They've just been a freaking force to be reckoned with. They've won a lot of folks over, especially the hardcore internet fans that are very familiar with Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. I mean, that just really tells a story in itself right there. And, my hat's off to them, and definitely my hat's off to Triple H, who definitely, as you said, he's learning from previous mistakes that the company has made. And I'm really, really, it just gives me that, damn, Triple H is not that bad of a guy. It just makes me respect him even more when I see that, he and the writers are going the route that they're going. They realize that if handled right, the Shield can definitely be a good force to reckon with, for many months to come. And the way this is looking right now, if they play this out right, I think we are going to be talking about the Shield come summertime. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a summer of the Shield.
I would not dislike that at all. To answer a question that you asked a little earlier about the Shield and Ryback going forward, what do you think? This may sound a little crazy. What do you think about Brad Maddox with Ryback against the Shield?
Wow. I like that.
That seems to make sense for me.
Yeah.
The way that they've been framing the story.
Not to mention the beatdown that they gave him, not once, but twice.
Twice, yeah.
Perfect explanation for why he would get involved, why he could possibly end up taking Cena's place. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
I mean, I don't know how much of a trade-off that is, but I think the way the story goes, it would make sense.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, what was your thought about tonight's pay-per-view there?
Like you said, I think it was a good placeholder. I think it told the stories that it needed to tell and kept everybody involved. Where they needed to be.
Yeah. Now we are on to the road of WrestleMania, and with
we are there.
We need to see some guys though pop up. We need to see what's going to happen with The Undertaker. We know Brock Lesnar is right around the corner. We need to see where that is going to continue to go. What's next for CM Punk? When does Christian return? I know a lot of people have been wondering that. You hardcore Christian fans?
After WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Christian
really?
after WrestleMania? Yeah. I mean, why would you bring him now to get lost in the shuffle? I would bring him out after WrestleMania.
Well, I tell you what. There's one thing I do want to see at this year's WrestleMania. I need to see the debut of Fandango.
They can hold that one.
Dude, I don't even want to see him wrestle. I just want to see him come out, say that, and then just go backstage. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think he is going to. Some of these guys like Richie Steamboat, or Henning's son. Do you think that they're ever going to get their opportunity to really, shine?
Not in WWE, quite honestly. I mean, for some of those guys, they've been in there now for a couple of years. I mean, you look at Michael McGillicuddy. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he has at least 3-4 years with the company now. And doesn't look like he's really, unfortunately, no, I don't see it happening. I think, unfortunately, their roles are just going to remain that of being jobbers and, being those talents that, we only hear or maybe see on NXT, FCW. I mean, it's unfortunate, but to answer your question, no, I don't see that time coming. I think at this point, with regards to the future of the WWE, I'm looking at guys like Cody Rhodes. I'm looking at Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, there's a lot left in him. All that slapstick comedy, put that to the side. There's a lot left that he can do for the sport of professional wrestling, but in particular, there's a lot he can do for the WWE. Kane, actually, he's winding it down, but Kane, I see one more last hoorah in him before he hangs it up. But
title run? World title, a singles title run?
World title run, yeah. I don't see him touching the WWE title. I just don't see it happening. But world title, I see him having one more in him. Damian Sandow, that's another one. We just got to get past all of this Rock, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio. We just got to get past those guys, and before anybody gets all upset, Ryback is part of that whole next big thing as well. Definitely, whether some people like it or not, Ryback is definitely in that mix. And the future's really looking bright. And let's not forget, we got Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. If I were to look at those three guys and think about future champion, Dean Ambrose, yes. Roman Reigns, yes. Seth Rollins, I need to see a little bit more. For right now, I don't see it.
You don't see a baby face running him?
I don't even see that. No. No.
Yeah.
No. It's sad too. It's like, but I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the promos or what, but I just don't see it happening. Like the closest I see him obtaining gold is like him teaming up with Justin Gabriel in their tag champs. I mean, that's don't ask me why, man. But that's all I see. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. I want to get some folks' reactions, see what you guys had thought about the pay-per-view. We've done enough talking. Number to call is 646-478-3525. 646-478-3525 is the number to call. Listen to the prompts. Get yourself live on the air. Talk with me, Diamond K. Let's go with caller from the 315 area code. And the way that we're going to do this, when you come on the air, let us know your first name, where you're calling from. We don't need to know what you have for breakfast and lunch today. Just, let us know your name, where you're calling from, and proceed. Caller from the 315. You're live on the air, my friend. Caller from the 315. You're on the air. Caller from the 315. Going once, going twice. 3 times a lady. That's it for caller from the 315. Okay. Anybody else, if you want to call, feel free to do so. Number to call, 646-478-3525. And if nobody's going to call, I put the plugs out there. I always hear, we have the phone lines. It's open. You don't take advantage. Hey, that just means me and Diamond, we get to do our thing a little bit more earlier, you know what I'm saying? So President's Day 2, I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be on Xbox Live. I'm going to be playing some Skyrim and be remixing this down. For tonight's pay-per-view, it was definitely a good filler. I thought WWE did a decent job, and I love the fact that with the way that they handled every single match, we really didn't see too many high-risk spots, because at this point you want to try to play it safe. You want to try to rest up and put down a 5-star quality type of match at Mania. So I'm really glad that we didn't see too many high-risk moves. And I definitely thought it was smart booking. I know some people were a little bit upset that they didn't get a bonus Elimination Chamber. I know there was the little rumblings that, people like to make. I think we're going to get 2 Elimination Chambers because I think Team John Cena is going to be taking on the Shield in a chamber match. And, that, honestly, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you put everybody in that type of a bad spot? It's bad enough you had the World Heavyweight Elimination Chamber #1 contender match. You don't really need to, have your best guy in there, John Cena, who's supposed to be working that money-making match with The Rock. No reason to put him in that type of a gimmick match. So smart booking on WWE's part. And, I know we got a lot of folks that want to sit up, Diamond, they want to criticize the WrestleMania card. And,
yes.
They want to say, oh, my God, it's going to suck. It's going to be Rock versus John Cena 2. Oh, my God, Brock Lesnar's going to be taking on Triple H. Oh, this pay-per-view is just going to reek of awfulness. Let me just put this out there. Even though you all are saying that and you all are making your little YouTube videos and, you're bashing WrestleMania 29, it's not like you have a crystal ball and you are there come April 7th and you've seen the results. You know what's going to happen. There is 7 weeks of storytelling going into this pay-per-view. And honestly, I think those of you need to just take a big old fat mellow chill pill and just see how this goes, okay? If you don't want to order the pay-per-view, then you know what? Hey, don't order it. If you're curious but you don't want to put money out there, do the next best thing. I know you guys got wrestling buddies. Go over to their house, chip in $10 for pizza, chips, drinks, whatever. Watch the pay-per-view that way. And I honestly, Diamond, I would suspect that the same people that are crapping on this right now, they're actually going to be the same ones that's going to end up saying, oh, my God, the pay-per-view was fantastic. But in particular, what I want to stress, Cena versus Rock 2. Folks, me and Diamond can offer many type of different matches that we feel is of great WrestleMania caliber that could replace Rock versus Cena. Can't say this enough. Diamond, I know you agree with me, buddy. This is all about what will sell. This is all about what will get folks into that Madison Square Garden arena. This is about what will make folks click that remote control, click buy it now, buy it on HD, get the replay, all that good stuff. It's all about the dollar bills, to quote Wu-Tang Clan, okay? And you got to respect that. You might not like it, but that's the route that they're going right now. So, don't take it so personal that you're not going to be able to see, some of you might not like this, but it's just coming down to the dollars. And honestly, Diamond, when I think about Rock versus Cena from last year, it wasn't that bad of a match. I mean, did Cena kind of have to carry the Rock? Yes, but if there's one thing that I've noticed this go-round, now that The Rock has made more appearances for WWE last year and this year combined, and he's appeared at 2 straight pay-per-views now, and he's getting ready to do a 3rd straight pay-per-view with Mania, Rock just looks like he's getting better and better in the ring. He's picking up right where he left off.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. Contrary to what a lot of people are thinking, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. Rematching the biggest match in history is a good thing. If they could have years ago found a way to rematch Andre and Hogan, they would have done it because it was a main event of that magnitude. So you definitely want to do that and find a way to do that. I wanted to get your opinion on something kind of unrelated. What are your thoughts on potentially the Olympics removing amateur wrestling from the Olympic competitions?
Yeah, and that's going to be effective as of what, like 2020? Yeah. I was a little bit stunned by that and a little bit disappointed. I'm saying to myself, this is really where it all starts. A lot of these performers that we see in the ring from WWE, TNA, you name the wrestling promotion, when you strip the pyro, when you strip the costumes away and all that stuff, the storylines, it just really comes down to 2 people in the ring being physical. And for me, I actually like to kick back some Saturday mornings, and I like to turn on ESPN and watch a high school wrestling match, between 2 people. I was definitely a little bit disappointed when I had heard this, And I'm hoping that maybe with enough support, maybe with enough signatures, maybe that the Olympics Committee can maybe give this some second thought. Because I think they're making a huge mistake.
Hopefully
mistake.
They will. Yeah. If I know that Kurt Angle and some others are trying to get some petitions going and definitely put some pressure on the Olympic Committee to change their minds about that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they can make an impact seriously, because I think if you're going to eliminate a sport from the Olympics, I would have to see the list. But for me, what I think is the most silliest sport is really, I could care. What's that?
Badminton.
I was going to say swimming. I could care less about swimming, really. If I want to watch people swim, I could just go to a beach and just say, shark! And, see who gets back to the shore first, man. I mean, quite honestly. But that's just me. Everybody has their own different tastes, but I definitely don't think wrestling is the one that you'll want to be messing around with. I mean, that's a lot of history right there. I mean, God, wrestling itself, if I'm not mistaken, it goes back to was that 18th, 19th century? Yeah, I really trace its origins back. I read up on it a couple of years back, but I believe it goes that far back. So I mean, that's some ridiculous stuff. I wanted to give. It looks like it was Kevin Kid Riot. He was the one that had tried to call us. He said we couldn't hear him. Let's try to give him one more opportunity to get in here. And we got to show some love to Parody Entertainer. He just hit us up on Twitter like seconds ago. He said, listening as we speak, man. Great show so far. Thank you for that. Glad that you are enjoying it, Perry. Let's go to Kev one more time. Let's see. Kev, say something, man. Let's see if we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. All right.
There you go. All right, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I tried talking the last time. You guys couldn't hear me.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that, but we got you now. So how you doing tonight, and how'd you enjoy the pay-per-view, buddy?
Well, I'm doing all right, and I thought the pay-per-view was pretty good for the most part. Pretty much called most of it. I was happy with a lot of the results. The only match I didn't call was the Shield match. That one shocked me. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure they were going to let Cena and them win that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And how did you enjoy Rock versus CM Punk? By chance, did you enjoy this encounter a little bit more than what they did at the Royal Rumble? Was it a little bit the same for you?
I thought it was overall a little bit better. Yeah. I was rooting for CM Punk to win. I had a feeling they were going to let Rock win, but I was hoping for CM Punk. I'm a Punk fan, through and through for sure, but wasn't disappointed.
Okay, that's good. So, a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the pay-per-view?
I'd say 7.5, maybe 8.
7.5 out of 8. Now, for you, how could that number been a little bit more higher up?
The Divas match. Yeah,
they should have removed it.
Yeah, a little bit with the Divas match was kind of meh.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I'm definitely happy with the way the Elimination Chamber match itself went through, though. I'm actually very happy with Swagger. That was good.
Okay.
I think I might be one of the only few that actually am happy Swagger won that.
Yeah. That was definitely one of those type of moves where, when you think about it in retrospect, and Kev, thanks for that call, buddy. And that's a first-time caller, by the way. We appreciate that, and you're more than welcome to call back anytime. That was probably one of the main takeaways for me was Swagger, he got the job done. Mark Henry still looking ever so freaking dominant. That was really my two favorites when I think about Elimination Chamber. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. How about you, Diamond? Diamond, fix your headset, man. maybe if I try this and then try Diamond again. Diamond.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go. I can hear you now.
All right, this thing takes some getting used to on my part. Sorry about that.
You good, man. What was your overall takeaway, though?
overall,
Yeah.
It's one of those things. The pay-per-view that's after WrestleMania, I'm not sure which one it is this year, but it's going to be similar in the aspect of a placeholder going towards SummerSlam, and we get these. Overall, I'm happy with the pay-per-view. I think it's what needed to happen. If I'm just a fan watching it and not trying to cover it in any way, I still would be happy.
Yeah. And for those curious, the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania, Diamond, it's going to be Extreme Rules, and it looks like that's going to be going down on, looks like if I'm reading this right, looks like it's going to be going down May 19th. Let me make sure May 19th. That's going to be the next pay-per-view. So they got a little bit. Oh, that's right, April, May. For some reason, I'm thinking, April, May was like a little bit farther apart from each other. But yeah, that sounds about right. May 19th is going to be down in St. Louis, Missouri.
Over a month.
Yeah.
Over a month apart. So that's good. Gives them time to reset. Do you think there's still a place for a draft?
God, no. The way that they're doing it right now is just perfect, and
I think a 3-hour Raw and they throw a draft in there. I don't see them. I don't see them. Not doing that. I can see them easily doing that.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. No, God, no draft, please. It just wouldn't make any sense right now. Y'all share talent as it is. Everybody's doing double duty. And let me just say this before we sign off. The way that SmackDown has been the past couple of weeks with CM Punk, Rock doing double duty, I don't know about you, but I've really been enjoying that. That has just, especially this past Friday, because I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown finally until I think it was earlier today, actually, and I was like, wow, this is, they really built it up there to, okay, you got to watch Elimination Chamber, and I thought it was nice that CM Punk still had the title, even leading right up into tonight's pay-per-view. So good stuff right there. And
the ratings have been showing it, too.
And the ratings have been showing it, that's right. And, guys, that's it for the final verdict for Elimination Chamber. Definitely, it passed. It got the job done. Great filler. Now we're set on WrestleMania. We got a great show that's going to be coming up this Tuesday night at 11 p.m. And just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, some of the things that we're going to be talking about is we hear the rumblings that WWE Raw may be remaining 3 hours up until SummerSlam. We'll go a little bit in depth about that and basically give our thoughts on, if it's a good thing that they're going to possibly go back to the 2-hour format or if it's a bad thing. And something else that we'll highlight for you guys. And, Diamond, I don't know if you had checked this out, but I definitely want to get your thoughts on Tuesday. There was an emotional clip that's been making its rounds. It came out, it looks like Valentine's Day, that showed Diamond Dallas Page with Jake the Snake Roberts. They had tried to give a phone call to Scott Hall, and it looks like Scott Hall was thinking about going to a very dark place, and I'm just going to leave it at that. This video, it was originally on Diamond's YouTube channel, but he has since made it private. If you do a little bit of digging around, you'll know where to find it. But you can check it out on our Facebook page at Infinity One Productions. We actually have it up courtesy of someone else that had uploaded it from their YouTube account. So we made it easy for you guys. Check it out there. And we'll actually follow up a little bit more on that because, I think that's
definitely.
That's definitely something we need to touch up on. And, because, this Scott Hall thing, this has been a problem for a long time now. So I know we're going to have a very interesting discussion about that. And we'll also cover the fallout from this past week's WWE Raw. Should be a very interesting night. I would expect them to hit a home run. I'm saying it right now. Do not be too surprised if we may see one or two people possibly make a return. Would I go the Undertaker route? Possibly. Possibly. I think
it's
that's
coming. I think.
Yeah. Something's big's going to happen Monday night for sure. I know they're going to hit a home run. I don't think they're just going to go with an average show. They're going to really get it off and run. And I always suspect them to start to get a little bit cold after the third, maybe fourth week, and last 2 weeks they hit another home run. But this first night of Raw, it's definitely going to be popping. That's going to do it, boys and girls. That's going to do it. Great show, great solid week of shows. If you guys have not checked out the great interview that I have with WWF legend and future WWE Hall of Famer Bruno Sammartino, you want to go backtrack, listen to it right now. It was a great 45-minute interview with the legend. Truly a huge honor. Great show. And if you're still celebrating Valentine's Day, as it might not be Monday in some parts where you guys are, we did a great 3-hour block of R&B music from the 80s, 90s today. Go backtrack, check it out, some good stuff. And that's going to do it. Thank all of you for checking out our post-show tonight. We got to show some love to all the people that are in the chat room. We got just a little bit over it. So at max, we have about 29. We got 20 that's sticking around right now. Thank you to those of you that are in there. Shout out to Philip Broom. Shout out to Kevin Kidd Riot. Shout out to I Love TNA Wrestling. Shout out to everybody. That's going to do it. We'll see you this Tuesday night at 11 p.m. For the RCWR show. He is the one and only Diamond K. I'm Lee Sanders. Everybody have a safe night and make it a good week. You know? All right. Diamond, last words, buddy.
The road to WrestleMania. We're on it officially.
We are on it. Everybody, good night.